Welcome back to another episode of Procurement Unplugged, powered by Zycus. I'm Marcus, your host, and joining me today is someone who knows the ins and outs of procurement. Please welcome Phyllis.
It's great to be here, Marcus.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into a topic that's generating a lot of buzz in the procurement world, Agentic AI. Specifically, we're going to explore how AI is revolutionizing procurement and revealing hidden savings potential that many companies overlook. We're talking about autonomous negotiation agents, ANAs for short, powered by Zycus, and their impact on the missing middle of procurement. Phyllis, I've heard whispers about these ANAs being game changers. For our listeners who might be hearing this for the first time, can you break down what makes ANAs so powerful?
Sure. ANAs are fundamentally changing how we approach procurement, especially when it comes to negotiations. Think about it. Traditionally, negotiations are time-consuming, resource-intensive, and often involve a lot of back and forth. But what if you could automate that entire process? That's precisely what ANAs bring to the table. They leverage AI and machine learning to analyze vast amounts of data, identify opportunities, and conduct negotiations independently.
Okay. So it's like having a tireless, data-driven negotiator working around the clock to get you the best possible deals. That sounds impressive, but I'm sure some procurement professionals might be hesitant to hand over the reins to AI. What would you say to those who are skeptical about this shift?
Well, I understand the hesitation. Change can be daunting, and procurement professionals are rightly proud of their negotiation skills. But the key here is that ANAs aren't about replacing human expertise, it's about augmenting it, freeing up procurement teams to focus on more strategic initiatives.
So it's about working smarter, not harder, and letting AI handle those tasks that can bog teams down. You mentioned this intriguing concept of the missing middle in procurement. What exactly is this missing middle, and why are so many companies missing out on its potential?
It's a great question, and it often comes as a surprise to many. The missing middle refers to tail spend, that area of procurement that often gets neglected because it involves numerous low-value, high-volume transactions. Things like office supplies, last-minute services, or maintenance repairs, purchases that might seem insignificant on their own.
Yeah, I see what you mean. We tend to focus on those big-ticket items, the contracts that involve millions of dollars, but these smaller everyday purchases can really add up.
Exactly, and that's where the real opportunity lies. While individual tail spend transactions might seem small, they collectively represent a substantial portion of a company's total spending. In fact, studies have shown that tail spend can account for up to 20% of a company's total procurement spend, even though it often represents 80% of their transactions.
Wow, 20% of total spend, but 80% of transactions. That's a pretty shocking ratio. Suddenly, those seemingly insignificant purchases don't seem so small anymore. But how do ANAs actually help companies unlock those savings hidden within their tail spend?
That's where the real magic happens. ANAs are perfectly suited to handle the sheer volume and complexity of tail spend. They can analyze mountains of data, identify patterns that humans might miss, and spot opportunities for savings that would otherwise go unnoticed. For example, ANAs can identify opportunities to consolidate orders, leverage volume discounts, and even renegotiate contracts to get better terms on those smaller purchases.
So it's like having a team of expert negotiators meticulously combing through every single transaction, ensuring you're getting the best possible price, even on a box of paper clips.
That's a great way to put it. It's about bringing that same level of rigor and strategic thinking to every purchase, no matter how small.
This is all starting to make sense. But let's talk tangible results. Can you give us some real-world examples of how ANAs are driving savings in this missing middle?
Absolutely. We've seen companies achieve incredible results with Zycus's ANAs. Take, for instance, a global manufacturing company that was struggling to manage its sprawling tail spend. They had thousands of suppliers and countless small-value contracts, making it a logistical nightmare. By implementing ANAs, they were able to automate the bidding process and leverage the ANA's negotiation capabilities. The results were astonishing. They reduced their tail spend by 12% in the first year alone, which translated into millions of dollars in savings.
4% in the first year. That's remarkable. But I imagine the benefits extend beyond just cost savings, right?
You're right. It's not just about the immediate cost savings, but also about the long-term impact on procurement operations. In this manufacturing company's case, ANAs freed up their procurement team to focus on more strategic tasks, such as supplier relationship management and developing innovative sourcing strategies. This led to a more efficient, agile, and ultimately more strategic procurement function.
It's a classic win-win scenario. You save money, and empower your team to focus on higher value activities. I'm curious, do you have any other examples of companies successfully leveraging A&As to tackle their tail spend?
There are numerous examples across various industries. Another one that comes to mind is a large healthcare system facing rising costs for medical supplies. They had a complex network of hospitals and clinics, each with its own procurement processes and supplier relationships. By implementing ANAs, they were able to standardize their procurement practices, consolidate their supplier base, and negotiate better prices for high-volume items like gloves, syringes, and bandages.
Yeah, healthcare is an area where every penny counts. So even a small percentage reduction in costs can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. In their case, they achieved a 7% reduction in their overall supply costs, which had a significant impact on their bottom line. ANAs are proving to be incredibly valuable in industries with complex supply chains and a high volume of transactions.
It's fascinating to see how this technology is being applied across different sectors to unlock hidden value. But are there any limitations to what A&As can do?
That's a good question. It's important to remember that while ANAs are powerful tools, they aren't a magic bullet. There are certainly situations where human intervention is still required, especially when dealing with complex negotiations that involve strategic partnerships or highly specialized goods and services. It's about finding the right balance between AI and human intelligence.
So it's about leveraging the strengths of both. AI handles the repetitive, data-driven tasks, while human professionals focus on areas where their experience and insights are most valuable. It sounds like Zycus has really thought this through.
Zycus has a deep understanding of the procurement landscape and the evolving needs of procurement professionals. They've developed a framework called SMART that guides companies through the ANA implementation process.
Okay, I love a good acronym. What does SMART stand for?
SMART stands for Simplify, Monitor, Aggregate, Renegotiate, and Track.
So it's a step-by-step roadmap for harnessing the power of ANAs. Can you break down what each of these steps entails?
Absolutely. Simplify focuses on using ANAs to automate those routine, time-consuming procurement tasks that bog down your team. Think purchase orders, invoice processing, basic contract renewals, things that can be easily handled by AI. By automating these processes, you free up your team to focus on more strategic initiatives. We've seen companies reduce processing time for these tasks by as much as 60 to 70%, which is a huge efficiency gain.
Wow, that's a significant amount of time saved. I can already see how that would allow procurement teams to be more proactive and strategic. What about the next step? Monitor.
Monitor is all about using ANAs to keep a watchful eye on your procurement spending in real time. ANAs can track spending patterns, flag off contract purchases, identify duplicate orders, and even detect potential compliance issues. It's like having a 24/7 auditor ensuring that everything is running smoothly and that you're not leaking money through inefficiencies or non-compliance.
It sounds like Monitor is all about giving procurement teams greater control and visibility over their spending. So we've covered Simplify and Monitor. What about Aggregate?
Aggregate focuses on using ANAs to consolidate your purchasing power and streamline your supplier relationships. ANAs can analyze your spending data and identify opportunities to combine orders from different departments or locations, allowing you to leverage your volume to negotiate better prices and terms with suppliers. It also reduces the administrative burden of managing multiple contracts and suppliers, making your procurement process more efficient.
That makes a lot of sense. So Aggregate is all about harnessing the collective buying power of the entire organization to get better deals and simplify supplier management. What about Renegotiate? That sounds like where ANAs really get to showcase their negotiation prowess.
Absolutely. This is where the real power of AI comes into play. ANAs don't just accept the initial terms offered by a supplier. They leverage their ability to analyze market trends, historical pricing data, and even the supplier's performance history to identify opportunities for better terms. Think of it as having a team of expert negotiators working tirelessly behind the scenes, constantly looking for ways to improve your contracts.
So it's not just about accepting the first offer that comes along. ANAs can actually push back and fight for a better deal.
Exactly. They use data and insights to make informed decisions and aren't afraid to, challenge suppliers to secure the most favorable terms possible.
What about the final step in the SMART framework, track? What role does tracking play in the whole process?
Track is all about ensuring that the savings and efficiencies you've gained through ANA implementation are sustainable. ANAs can continuously monitor your spending patterns, contract compliance, and supplier performance to identify any deviations from your procurement goals, allowing you to address issues promptly and make necessary adjustments to your strategy, ensuring that you're maximizing your return on investment.
So track is about closing the loop and making sure that the benefits of ANAs are not just a one-time gain, but an ongoing source of value for the company.
Exactly. It's about creating a data-driven procurement culture where continuous improvement is the norm.
This SMART framework sounds incredibly comprehensive and provides a clear roadmap for any company looking to implement ANAs and unlock the hidden potential of their tail spend.
For our procurement professionals tuning in, it's clear that ANAs are not some far-off futuristic concept. They're here, they're making a real impact. And as we've discussed today, the potential for ANAs to transform procurement is only just beginning to be realized. And for those of you who might be newer to the world of procurement, I hope this deep dive has provided some insights into the incredible innovations taking place. Procurement is no longer simply about cutting costs. It's about driving strategic value for the business, and ANAs are playing a key role in that evolution.
Well said. Procurement is truly becoming a strategic function, and AI is at the heart of that transformation.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in procurement.